Hi, this is Rabbi Tzvi Mandel of Congregation Kal B'nai Yisrael, community of Jewish friends. And again, I want to thank everybody who left me such nice compliments on the past YouTube. So we were discussing about the great Marv Shamish, Reb Kleinem Kalman of Krakow, his greatness in Torah, both in the revealed and hidden Torah, and his great tzidkis and righteousness as being a student of the Rebbe Melch Lezhenska, who was so great. So another story goes as follows, that Reb Kleinem Kalman used to have the custom of davening during the weekdays in his home. He would have a minyan, and only Shabbos would he go to shul to daven for whatever reason. And once he couldn't have the minyan in his house, so he went up to the Obergasse, which is a street in Poland in Krakow, and he davened in the hall of the shul of the Ramah. The Ramah is Rav Moshe Isserles. He was the greatest halachas of all times. If you open the big Shulchan Aruch, not the kids Shulchan Aruch, but the big Shulchan Aruch, which is 3 or 4 volumes in Aruch Chaim, and then in the other 3 volumes of Shulchan Aruch, Yeredeich, Hashem Mishpat, Even HaEzer. So the great Rav Moshe Isserles, the Ramah, is the greatest halacha decider for people from Europe, the Bnei Ashkenaz, it's called. And in the shul of the Ramah, Chassidim, whenever they daven there, even great tzaddikim and rebbes would always daven Ashkenaz, because that was his way of davening, that was his nusach, and it would be incorrect to have the chutzpah in his place to daven Nusach Sfard, the Baal Shem Tov's Nusach, even though it was very great and perhaps even greater from the Arizal. So Reb Kleinem Kalman davened this time in the hall so he could daven Nusach Sfard. In the middle of his davening, a neshama came to him, as we said. Great tzaddikim know how to fix neshamas. They come from the other world for fixing. And in the middle of the davening, he comes to him and he says, Rebbe, please help me. And he says, I'm so many years, I'm hundreds of years, I don't have a tikkun yet, I need to be fixed. And Reb Kleinem Kalman says, I don't know what you want from me. Goes to a great person. And this neshama says, but they sent me down from the other world to you. And they said, you'll see the person that's davening Nusach Sfard in the hall of the Ramah's shul. He can help you. So they look at Reb Kleinem Kalman, closed his eyes, and he thought, you know what? I studied Mishnayos this morning before going to pray, before the services. May those Mishnayos go to you as a merit, and you will be fixed. And then Shama went away and didn't come back. And when other students of the Rebbe Melech, other great tzaddikim, heard about this story, they said, Kalmish, you're so nice and you're so kind. You could have given him one of your Mishnayos. Why do you have to give away so much of your special Mishnayos that you toiled on to study? There's another story about the great Reb Kleinem Kalman. And this will be the last one for now. It's a great, awesome story. And a scary one also. So once, later on in life, after Reb Kleinem Kalman became Rebbe, he would always go visit the Rebbe Melch Lezhenska, his Rebbe. He was still a chassid of his. One of the interesting ways of a tzaddik is that every tzaddik has a Rebbe. So he would go to visit the Rebbe Melch Lezhenska. And Rebbe Melch Lezhenska told him, Reb Kalman, Krakow Rebbe, tonight we're going to have a very special experience. You must cleanse yourself and make yourself holy, because it's going to be something very, very awesome. He told it to him another time and a third time, and when night finally came, he said, Reb Kalman, come with me. And they went together, went to the mikveh, and went together to the cemetery. And all of a sudden, the Heilig Reb Melech Lezhenske closed his eyes, and he told Reb Kalman to hold on to his gartel. And it came Chatzos of the night, that special awesome time, and all of a sudden they saw thunder and lightning, and an unbelievable great fire came down from heaven and spread down to the earth in thousands and thousands of sparks. But Kalman was not scared, because his Rebbe told him that it's going to be something very awesome. And while they're standing there for some time, all of a sudden Rebbe Melech Lezhenske said some more words, and the whole thing disappeared. The fire went back to heaven, and it ended. And he says to him, my dear student and child, he wasn't a child, he was already a big Rebbe himself, but to him he was his child. That was the neshama of the Holy Baal Shem Tov. All my life, I longed and desired and toiled so hard, the higher levels of the universe and of the tzaddikim of all the generations, and begged that I should be able to see the Holy Baal Shem Tov. And I was always told, you cannot see the soul of the Baal Shem Tov. Till recently it was revealed to me that before you pass away, you'll have the special honor in this life, in this earth, to see the Heilig Baal Shem Tov. And that's who that was. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because since I know, he says, that he's going to shortly pass away, because if they revealed him this high level, then it means that he's not much longer on this earth. So if he passes away, he wanted to be buried in that place where the Baal Shem Tov revealed himself to him. Immediately, the Heilig Rav Shamash took 4 sticks and surrounded the area, because the Rebbe Melech told him he's making him responsible to actually do it and to make sure he's buried there, because there'll be many students, they wouldn't know where to bury him, and this is where he should be buried. So he put 4 sticks there, and not long after, the Heilig Rebbe Melech Lezhenske's Chusa Yagan Aleinu V'Kol Yisrael Amin passed away, and the Rav Shamash told them where to bury the Rebbe Melech. Mind-boggling story. Okay, we will go on to the Chassidic Maggid, the great Chassidic Maggid, one of the greatest students of the Maggid of Mezrich. And in the Holy Chassidic Maggid's town, there was a simple Jew, but a very special person. Simple is not a degrading thing. Simple is good and a very high level. Halavai, we should all be simple. Simple in our amunah, simple in our toil and learning, simple in our davening, simple in our man to man, being humble and honest. So simple is good. And this simple Jew had he had this great custom and habit that he would always go around collecting money for other people. And that way he did great mitzvahs. The whole town knew him as the one who comes for the money, and many people were disturbed because of it. What, are you coming again? Who are you coming for now? Why don't you go work? He says, it's not for me. I'm doing it for somebody else. I don't even take 1%. I do it just for the mitzvah itself. Well, one day he had already collected for 3 different causes, took off from work, and would go collecting to every store, to every balabas, to every businessman, to everyone. It was a long day. He went home and was ready to sit down and eat supper, maybe learn something, and someone knocks on the door. He answers the door. May I help you? And the guy starts bawling, crying. Nebuch said, look, his wife is very sick and needs very expensive medications. And he has, besides that, he has 8 children, 10 children, and they're starved. Please, please help me. This Jew was so broken hearing this guy's story, even though he knew that he already gone around 3 times today collecting money and already got plenty of embarrassment and shouted at, and people are people, you know. But he said, I must go help this person no matter what happens. He said to him, I'll come back with the money that you need. And so he starts going collecting here and there, and this one says, you were just here, and the other one says, you were here twice today, and this, and he tells them the story. And it wasn't such a good response like he would have wished that there would have been. Finally, he came to one person, and the person says, you again? And he had a couple of his cronies together with him at the business. They started making fun of him. It was a closed business. And one of them says, you know what? This is a closed business. I have here a suit from the local priest. And it looks like a priest's suit. If you go around with this suit on you, take off your clothes, go in the back in the dressing room and put on this thing, and you go around for a half hour around the Jewish section, then I'll give you all the money you need for this poor person. He said, I'm 100% ready to do it, because he knew this is his mitzvah and he loved to go. This gewaldige mitzvah that connects the Jew to Hashem so closely, the mitzvah of tzedakah, that it's one of the greatest things we could do. And so he goes around the whole town, and he gets laughed at and screamed at, and finally after a half hour he comes back, and the guy gives him the full money, and he goes and delivers it to the poor man and comes back home and falls down on the floor and collapses and dies. This was unbelievable. And people didn't know what to make of it. And so he wrote in his will that he wants to be buried in the priest's suit. They buried him, and sometime later, another person had to be buried right next to him. And they went a little bit into his grave, and they saw that after quite some time, his body was still whole, which is something that's very, very rare. And so they went back to the Chassidic Stories and they asked him, how does it come that he had such a gewaldige schus? So he said, that suit proved how special he was, and all the bizyonis and all the embarrassments and the shouting and the being mocked at, that it was a very special atonement for him for all his life, for anything that he might have done, because he buried himself with this clothes. Anyway, okay, we'll stop here.